All right, guys, welcome to the post-game show of SLC Dunk. The Utah Jazz defeat the Denver Nuggets in what started off as a very frustrating game and ended up going very well for the Utah Jazz. There's a few things that we wanted to go over, but very excited to start this season with you guys. We're going to be doing post-game shows, as many as we possibly can. The goal is every single game. I'm going to try. I can't always do every game, but it's going to be something that we're going to do all the time. Make sure to leave questions, leave comments, share this with your friends, whatever you want to do. That'll help out the show. But let's get to the game. The Jazz defeat the Denver Nuggets, and that first half was a little rough, guys. It was tough to watch some of the things that were going on. It seemed like the Jazz were a little tentative, maybe a little unsure of themselves. They just didn't quite look themselves. And also the Denver Nuggets, it's hard to look like yourself when the Denver Nuggets literally make every single shot they made. So I commented on Twitter, I was saying that like the offensive scheme of the Nuggets where they take and make as many threes as they can is really working, because honestly they made every single shot they took. It was crazy. Jokic is a very good player, by the way. He causes some problems. He's kind of Mark Gasol-esque in that he kind of handles the ball, passes it to open shooters. I was getting very frustrated with the Jazz on defense a little bit, because it's just like, why are we double teaming the best passing center in the NBA? Because he really is. Jokic was on point tonight with just his passing. You can just tell that Nuggets offense kind of rolls through him, and he kind of moves and passes and finds open shooters. He's just really good at it. He's boring to watch. I'm not gonna lie. Jokic is not very fun to watch, guys, but man, he's effective. And the Jazz in that first half, they were doubling on Jokic, and he was finding the open shooters, and the shooters were making it. It was just basically the story of the first half. So luckily the Jazz stopped it, and I noticed that they just did not double Jokic. And I'm sure Quinn said that at halftime, like, stop double teaming the best passing center in the NBA because he's burning us, and that's what happened. Really big game from Derek Favors this game, which was really exciting. Derek was hitting shots. He played really well. He seemed to guard the perimeter well. Really exciting to see Derek play well. He had that one pick and roll where he exploded to the rim, and I swear it was vintage Derek Favors. Fantastic. Also from the first half, one of my favorite plays from that first half was Ricky Rubio came in after sitting on the bench and kind of just galvanized the Jazz. Really came in, just like stopped the bleeding, because we were honestly in bad shape that first half. I mean, it was such a bad first half that I was starting to wonder about this team in general, which is what you all do as fans. You just kind of overreact a little bit. But my goodness, Rubio has that calming veteran effect that this team needs. It's very obvious that we miss Dante Exum. My goodness, like, Donovan Mitchell is going to be an absolute star, and I have no doubts about it, but it is very clear that right now point guard it's going to take time. It's going to take time for him to kind of figure out his role, figure out when to shoot, when to pass, when not to shoot, and things like that. He's a rookie. This is his first game. We shouldn't be too hard on him, but Donovan had some rough moments that you would just expect from any rookie. It's just how it goes. He was hyper aggressive, but honestly, I love seeing that from Donovan. He's not afraid of anybody, and that's what you want from your guard. You don't want him to be scared. You want Donovan to just go. And so Donovan's going to be fine. He's going to get better as we go, which is frightening, because honestly his defensive game tonight was really, really exciting. That was another thing. So technically Donovan Mitchell started the game. I guess Rodney Hood, I always wonder, because that happens to Rodney here and there, and I wonder if it was just that anxiety thing he has, and I wouldn't be surprised if gastric distress or whatever they call it was that him vomiting from nerves in the bathroom, because he has that anxiety stuff. And so I wonder if that's just what it was. And that was kind of rough to start the game with an issue with your starter not starting. Immediately the team at the last second kind of throws your initial game plan out the window because Rodney's not there. And we kind of felt that. Like, I was looking at Rodney's stats. He had 3 points in the first half. We honestly had a bad first half, and I would say that that's actually pretty promising for this team as we go along. because we really did not play very well in the first half and ended up figuring it out and just dominating the second half, especially the fourth quarter. But anyways, so I would expect more from Rodney Hood. He just didn't have a huge impact on the game, but we'll see more from Rodney in games to come. Second half, that was when it kind of all turned around. The Jazz locked them down in the fourth quarter. That fourth quarter was unbelievable. I mean, literally every possession for Utah turned into a steal. I mean, honestly, that fourth quarter was just ridiculous. I mean, the Nuggets scored, like, how lame is it, too, that the last two shots the Nuggets take, they hit threes and improve their scoring efficiency? What the heck? That's so annoying because they scored like 5 points in that fourth quarter. That fourth quarter was best defense in the NBA type defense and the type of defense we need to expect. All right, and that's the other thing. The player that we need to talk about is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Alec Burks. Holy smokes. That first half, he was a sieve on defense. He made that one bucket and missed shots. And then Alec Burks in the second half absolutely exploded. Absolutely exploded. And it was because of that three-point shot. That's exciting stuff from Alec Burks. If he hits that three-point shot like he did, all of a sudden this team gets much more dynamic and much more exciting on that second unit. Because Alec Burks, if he is a good three-point shooter, that's the thing. And if Alec Burks can be converted to his own three-point shot, all of a sudden this team just gets really exciting with that second unit. Because Alec needs to learn, and this is kind of a misconception with Alec. He's not the greatest driver, and he's not a good finisher. I mean, he has those acrobatic things, and he did it more when he was a younger player, but he's just not the greatest finisher at the rim. What he's really, really good at is his three-point shooting, and he showed it tonight. I mean, he had that Houdini under the rim shot that went in. Those typically don't go in. But Burks got filled with the magic tonight and was Houdini. But that three-point shot from Burks has always fallen. It's always fallen for Alec Burks. And so if he just, becomes converted to shooting threes, he's going to be that much better. Alec Burks, if I could tell Alec Burks one thing, just shoot the three because you're really good at it, Alec. You're a really good three-point shooter. It's actually your best talent. Everyone talks about the driving. It's the three-point shooting. Go look at his numbers. He was literally, like, 3 years ago, our best three-point shooter. He's really, really good. And so if Alec can just, like, do that and just kind of change that mindset a little bit, that three-point shot first and foremost, Alec Burks, three-point shooter, he will be just fine and be an absolute weapon for us. Let's see. 7 points in the first 10 minutes of the fourth. Rubio, Ingles, Cephalosha, Favors, Gobert is terrifying if Faves can score. From Taylor Patrick Hill. I totally agree. And the reason I like that lineup too is because what happened is the Jazz just locked down and they got a big lead. And then they brought in that lineup that you're telling right there. And they locked it down and the game was over. Because that lineup is ferocious on defense. I mean, that lineup is scary. So if the Jazz are up like 7-8 points, you put that lineup in, they don't score. So that was actually my favorite part of the fourth quarter, was the fact that the Jazz were able to get a big lead. They finally kind of opened the floodgates. We're getting turnovers, scoring a lot of points, and we're able to put in that defensive just monster lineup that just locked everything down. At that point, the game was over. There was just no way that Denver was going to score. Can the Warriors and maybe Houston find a way to score on that lineup? Sure. But 90% of the teams in the NBA are going to struggle a bit against that length and size and tenacity. Ricky Rubio was absolutely so important to this team to finish that game. You could just feel his veteran presence helping this Jazz team win. There was a point in that first half where I started to wonder, like, maybe this is a Rubio thing. Maybe he didn't help the Minnesota Timberwolves win games. And then you saw his value just grow and grow and grow and grow. Was he a lights-out shooter tonight? No, but he did hit shots. And his presence, his defensive tenacity, his leadership, and his 10 assists helped us win the game. He was super vital. And watching Ricky Rubio with this team and watching him be a big part of a winning Jazz team that's going to make the playoffs is going to be exciting. This was a huge game for the Jazz where they overcame a lot of adversity. They overcame some major shooting problems in the first half from the Denver Nuggets. They were hitting everything they took. The Jazz adjusted, came in the second half, won with efficient turnover basketball where they were getting steals, getting deflections, going the other way and scoring. Joe Johnson was a monster. I mean, Joe Johnson had a big defensive play where he got that block, and he had 2 or 3 plays on the offensive end where he just calmly got the Jazz some buckets and allowed them to just calm down. He scored, and then the other players on the team just finished it off with steals and fast breaks, and then we just lock it down. The Jazz, to me, in a lot of ways, are a running team in the NFL that gets big chunks of yardage on the run and slowly gets a big lead, and then in the fourth quarter they just let the air out of the ball, slow it down, and just beat you with defense. And that's what we're going to be able to do every game. Exciting stuff from the Jazz. They're going to get better and better and better this year. They're going to find ways to score. They're going to hit more threes than they did. Joe Ingles was hitting threes like a crazy person. If we get those 3-point shots from Joe Ingles from the corner like that, we're going to be very effective offensively. And if Derek Favors can hit that mid-range jumper like he was tonight, I don't know how effective and how efficient he was. I don't have the numbers right here. But he was doing pretty well, and he was scoring at an efficient and good clip. And pick and rolls with Rudy and Derek are going to be our bread and butter. I want to see a pick and roll every single play almost, because that is going to be our offense. And that's fine, because that's going to get us an average offense, which for a team like us who has the best defense in the NBA, good enough to get a lot of wins. All right, guys. So comment, like, subscribe, share with your friends, comment in the comments below for SLC Dunk. I'll talk to you later.